Welcome. My name is Sean Ali, and I'm part of the Young Innovators Network. Today, we'll be discussing productivity in the classroom. In this live stream, we'll be going through a video, and this is part of a series, of course, where we'll be discussing different types of studying, HSC, etc. And we'll be looking through this video that you see on the screen. Each part of the video has a section. We'll pause at every section, and we'll be discussing with the people who are joining us today what they think, their thoughts and perspectives, and as well as we'll also have an in-depth discussion on each part of the video. Joining us today is Ayan Ali, Hasnain, and Usman. So, hey guys, if you'd like to introduce yourself or say anything about yourselves, Ayan.
Hello everyone, my name is Ayan Ali. I am 11 years old and I go to Al Faisal College Minto. And today it's a pleasure to be on today's show. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayan. Hasnain?
Welcome. My name is Hasnain. I'm 15 years old. I go to Al Faisal College Auburn, and it's a pleasure to be in this show as well.
Usman, you there? Looks like we're having difficulties with Usman right now, so we'll just move forward from here. I'll start by opening up the video, so we'll get the video running first. And just while we're getting the video ready, just a reminder that the Young Innovators Network runs things such as live shows and streams that you see now. And on top of that, we also run workshops, and we talk about how to be smarter, independent, and also passionate learners. If you want to learn more, subscribe to this channel so that you can stay updated, and also go to our website, younginnovators.net.au. Anyways, moving forward. So, be productive in the classroom.
Learn how to increase productivity in the classroom, or basically how to utilize your classroom time effectively and become a fully responsive and attentive in the class. And also, while we are looking at the class in general, we will also look at the different challenges you face while participating in the class activity. Let's get going. The classroom is basically a main core activity while you're studying in the school. And we will be learning how to be productive in the classroom. Productivity doesn't mean just utilizing your class time effectively, but also fully responsive or attentive in the activities you involve there. Beside that, you also want to enjoy while you're learning there. The classroom is the time to learn about certain subjects with your peers, teachers, and the internet. There are subsequent topics that you should not miss if they belong to the technical learning. It'll be harder to grasp them later, either all on your own or by using Google. A good classroom keeps you engaging, interactive, and alert. Teachers ask you what you already know and guide you to build the rest upon that. Then they give you tasks to strengthen your understanding. Teacher will let you ask questions if you don't understand something. And if you don't ask questions, they will ask you at the end to know what did you learn. And on the basis of that, they give you some class activities, assignment, and sometimes they use the class time to run tests too. So each class session is the smallest unit of your learning. Now let's look at the different challenges you face. The first one, we're going to look at it.
Okay, so let's just pause it here.
You don't have it.
Before continuing, let's talk about what we just heard about what is a classroom. So in the video, it mentioned that a classroom is the time to talk with your peers and also a time to learn about certain subjects, with many subjects being really important to us. Another thing they spoke a little bit about was productivity. And they said productivity is about staying engaged and listening in the classroom. So I want to put a little bit of a focus on productivity here. Does anyone here have anything else they'd like to say, or anything else how they view productivity in general, just so that we can get a different perspective on this? So how would any of you view productivity in any other lights, for example?
I would say in another light is productivity is trying to stay connected with everyone, staying in the loop, and basically what you said, staying engaged and etc.
Yep. Hasnain, Usman, do you guys have anything to say, or do you think it was pretty accurate?
Yeah, I think the what the video said about productivity is very almost accurate. One thing I would like to add though is being productive does mean to connect with others and staying focused, but also trying to get as much work done in a shorter time as possible, and not wasting your time on other things which can be set for later as well.
Yeah, I was
So,
actually thinking a similar thing as well about efficiency as well, because being efficient in the classroom is actually really helpful in terms of getting things done in time and also in shorter amounts of time. So efficiency is very important when it comes to productivity. Usman, do you have anything to say?
I think the video was most accurate for the most part, and I agree with Ayan and Matsai, and my headphones are running out of battery. So I'm going to arrange that.
Okay, thank you, Usman. So just a reminder to people who are watching this or viewing this that everything that we're discussing, you can also be part of this discussion. You can speak in comment section. You can also give your thoughts, ask any questions if you'd like. And that's about it. So let's just quickly move forward now. The first challenge, not being focused. Can we continue the video?
Focus. You're not fully is you don't have a focus. You're not fully focused there. Either it can be physically or mentally. Mostly it happens when you did not have enough sleep. Either you have been playing too much or you had exhausted class sessions. But whatever the reason, an energy drink is not the solution. So what can we do? The first option you have is stretch your body to revitalize your brain. We have given you a link of a document where you have 4 minutes.
The video is just loading. I think there are some internet issues. We'll just wait for a little bit. So when we're talking about not listening, so I'll just be discussing while we're waiting. When we're speaking about not listening, we also mentioned what was it? Yep. They mentioned a little bit about not being engaged in the classroom and not being able to focus. And obviously, energy drinks were not the solution. That's actually something that's really helpful, because if you think about it, let's say when you're driving, right? When you're driving, you're told that sometimes you get tired and you want to just take a revival thing, right? And first of all, what they say straight away is that even if you take coffee, it won't help you. Sure, it's a stimulant in the sense that it gives you a little bit of energy at that time, but slowly what will happen if you take it as a graph, slowly you'll go downwards and downwards your energy. So it's like a spike. It spikes it, use up more energy than it should. And as a stimulant, you'll eventually start, your focus and your activeness will start decreasing. And that's also, what's it called? Yep, and that's also why it's important to understand, to take away this misconception that having coffee or any sort of caffeine will help you. It doesn't actually. So Ayan and Hasnain, if you guys have anything to say about not listening or any advice or anything you'd like to mention. Oh wait, I think the video's back up. Okay, looks like the video's back up. So we'll let them play the first challenge and then we'll talk a little bit about it.
Yep. Will revitalize your brain and make you alert again. The other thing you can try is drink water, because dehydration always causes sleepiness and fatigue. Washing your face and stretch a little, walk around will also help you to become alert again. Water makes you active because it helps your body to de-stress as well. Beside that, the second challenge we look at it is
Oh, yeah.
You're muted.
Apologies. Sorry. Now, number one, the first solution was if you're having any challenges, what was it? Sorry. Oh, yeah. Try and drink some water. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't know much here, so I would like Ayan or Hasnain or Usman to just intervene here, give their thoughts or anything they might know.
As you said before, it's actually on the highway where they have these billboards, I think they would say, and it says about stop, revive, and survive, and it actually does help. People have used it in the past and nowadays, and Ashian said, drink some water, wash your face, and try and relax for a little bit. Yeah, I'm done.
Cool. Hasnain, do you have anything to say?
No, not really. I think you've covered pretty much everything about like how water is used as an effective way to maintain focus throughout the day, and staying hydrated can also boost up the productivity and your energy needed to be able to step up to the daily demands. So that's I have nothing to say add to that.
Cool. Usman, you're back?
Yes, I fixed up my microphone.
That's nice. Now, we were just talking about the first challenge, which was being tired and having mental fatigue. Some of the solutions there was try and drink plenty of water, because water can help a lot. And another solution they actually presented was stretching. Stretching as a solution is very useful, and as they show on the screen right now, there are different stretches you can do, and there are series of stretches you can do. It looks like someone's disturbing Usman right now. So, on the topic of stretches, has anyone actually tried stretches in class? And if they have, how'd it go?
I have tried it a few times in class. It works out pretty good, especially if you're like losing your energy and you're just getting bored or something. Just stretch out your body. If you see, sometimes in classes you have to just sit on chairs all day, so it's a
Yep.
good way to get your body relaxed and your muscles, I guess, stretched.
And okay, that's nice. And Hasnain, have you tried stretches before in class?
Yes, I have, and it's become kind of a common thing now for me, since I have to spend like a really long amount of time in the classroom as well. Especially as you might know, we have like double periods of certain subjects, meaning like 2 hours of the same subject in a row without like much breaks at all. So
Yeah.
whenever like I get the chance to, I just try to stretch, and I use a combination of the stretches that you showed before, and it's become kind of a routine for me as well.
So yeah, using stretches, and as you just mentioned, it becomes routine if you do it regularly, obviously. I'll just ask Usman. Usman, have you used stretches in the classroom or during a class before?
Yes, it's kind of become a habit now to crack my back or like stretch myself out every like few 30 minutes or so. So it helps relax my muscles and my body from sitting for so long in class, as Husnain and Ayan said.
Thank you. Now, before we continue the video, we'll talk a little bit more about other solutions. Other solutions of mental fatigue. Does anyone have any other solutions that they can present? For example, let's say you're in a history lesson, right? Everyone's been in primary. Everyone's went through history. History is a subject where you can actually have a lot. Sometimes people enjoy it, sometimes people don't. And when you're not listening at the start, you're usually very lost, and then you might experience mental fatigue. So does anyone here have any other solutions for mental fatigue in particular? Just unmute yourselves and talk.
Ask your peers and ask your teacher if you're just lost completely.
Yeah, but when we talk about mental fatigue, we're talking about when you're mentally tired, right? So, do you have any other advice for people if you're mentally tired? Like you just feel so bored, you're lost out of it, you just cannot focus. Can anyone at least empathize with this?
When someone is like mentally fatigued, they're very stuck, you can say. For me, I just take a few deep breaths and try to start from the beginning, ask my friends around me who have understood what's going on, and well, yeah.
Okay, so taking deep breaths. Thanks, Usman. Hussein, do you have anything to say in regards to this? Like any other solutions you might have, any experiences you'd like to share?
Especially this year, I have started to, experience the stress of not getting enough sleep as well during the night, because every night there would be so much to do and complete within us, and often it would pile up as well, and that would lead me to sleeping, for example, at like 12 or 1 a.m., which is obviously not very healthy at all. And as a result, it has a domino effect. So like the next day, I would often feel very dozed off during certain lessons. And so what I would technically do is, like you said, just do routine stretches, drink lots of water, and obviously that would sort of help me. And especially during the breaks that we have during school, I would try to engage in like sort of physical exercises to maintain that focus and get me ready for the upcoming lessons to come.
Yeah. And when we talk about sleep in particular, it is very important to get enough sleep. If the camera can just come to everyone, just there we go. It is very important to get enough sleep. And being physically healthy is just as important as being mentally healthy, because your physical health and also your social health actually impacts your mental health as well, especially in the classroom. So staying physically healthy, having enough sleep and exercise is crucial and very important to being able to focus in class. So otherwise, we'll move forward from here. The second challenge, I don't understand. Continue.
Is when you don't understand certain things, teacher explained to you, but you did not understand fully. So what is the first thing you do? You ask question. And if your teacher is try to explain again, but you still don't understand, then leave it to the practice time when you can find the answer with the help of your peers. And if you find it, most of the people didn't get it, then you can approach your teacher again and ask the question that we didn't understand fully. So he or she will go over the topic again. And also you can opt to approach the internet with the help of peers to find the understanding of the topic. But whatever you do not leave question unresolved or skip the topic and put it in the too hard basket. Try your best to understand it, because all the upcoming concepts and subsequent questions will depend on that topic too, because all the learning is a chain work. If you don't do that, that will create a domino effect, which will start your confusion further and they will pile up. By the way, do you know what Satyambatun means, the picture you're seeing on the right? If you do, write in the comment box.
Okay. Now, second challenge, I don't understand. We spoke a little bit about putting things in the too hard basket. We spoke about not focusing in class and when you're just lost altogether. And when you don't understand something, that's something that every student like us go through, and it can be pretty challenging. So before I give any thoughts or solutions myself, I'm going to first turn to our panel. We'll start off with Ayan. So Ayan, can you please give your solutions to the issue of not understanding in class or being lost in the concept? And make sure to look at the camera, please, just so that we can see you have eye contact.
So if you're lost or you don't understand in class, the first thing to do would to be able to ask your peer. And if they don't know themselves, then you would go to your then you'd ask another friend. If they don't know, then it would be time to go to the teacher. And that's basically what I do at school if I don't understand anything. Or I just look at the board if there's any notes, try and go from there.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Just obviously be careful not to disturb the class. If you don't understand something, don't try and disturb the whole class in one go, because sometimes that can negatively impact you and the class's understanding. So try and be a little bit subtle, obviously.
Yeah, so
Hussein, or yeah, what are you saying, Ian?
it's only the like people like right next to me. I don't go around, so it's just
Yeah, obviously. So always ask the person next to you. Now, Hussein and Usman, either of you can speak. Whoever wants to give their thoughts first.
Personally, I would, if I personally don't understand a concept, I would try to be as specific as possible to which concept I don't understand and ask a question based on that only, and not ask a very general or like vague question, because sometimes when you ask like really vague questions, it might not like answer your question and you still might remain confused, and therefore it can impact your future learning. And so I try to be as specific as possible whenever I'm asking questions, so I get the maximum benefit about when I'm asking a question to the teacher as well.
Yep, so be very specific about asking questions. Actually, that reminds me of this one time, or what I usually do. In subjects like math, it's very important that you don't actually not understand something, because if you don't understand something in something like math, then what will happen is that it'll put you behind several steps. So what I would do for a subject such as that, I would wait for the math teacher to finish explaining to the rest of the class. And as soon as the class understands the concept, then I would ask my teacher, could you re-explain this to me? I apologize, I wasn't focusing. Because usually with my math and science teachers, I try and have a friendly relationship with them, so they'll be okay with that. So it's important to let the teacher finish and not interrupt them mid-speech as well. And as Hussein said, try and be very specific about what you don't understand, or else you might not get the right answer and you'll just be put inside more and more confusion, trying to link what the teacher said with what you're trying to understand. But anyways, moving forward to this one. So talking about being lost in a concept, what is your experiences and what would you advise to other people?
I have occasionally been lost in, like, for example, science concepts. So it's something that everyone will experience sometime in the schooling life, and we all have to find a way to get through it. So usually, if I'm lost, I'll ask my friends after if I didn't have time before, and otherwise I'd ask the teacher to re-explain the actual concept. However, that might disturb people, so I prefer to actually go and ask my friends after class, which helps everything in the class moving forward and like without interruption.
Yep.
Understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Could you repeat that last part again? Sorry, I just.
It helps. I asked my friends after class as it helps to keep the lesson interruption free, and the like you don't people don't get bored or like stuck
Yeah.
because of challenge number one.
Yep. So ask after class as well. That's really useful. And if you're lost in a concept, sometimes let the lesson finish and then ask your friends. Maybe they can re-explain the concept in a different way so that you can understand it better. Because sometimes when the teacher explains something in a certain way, using a certain, let's say, allegory is not the right word, using a certain example, then what will happen is that this example might not make sense to you. So when your friend would explain to you after class, they might use a different example, and that example will make more sense. So thank you, Usman, Hussein, and Ayan. Ayan will just be back in a second. So we'll continue, and I'll just quickly run it through him afterwards. So let's go to the next challenge. Also, make sure to subscribe to our channel, obviously, to get alerts for future shows and videos, because we will be having them every single week on Saturdays from, I think, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. sitting time. Moving forward.
That challenge, the challenge is to, when you already know the topic, By some reason, you learned it somewhere, or you find it very quickly to learn. It's a very lucky thing. You should be proud of it. But if it makes you bored, or you, instead of learning it further, you annoy teacher and others, that's not a positive approach. Instead, what you can help others. Approach your teacher humbly and ask her to appoint you as a helper with a few classmates who needs help in that particular topic. It will have two benefits. Firstly, you have more confidence in your knowledge, and you get a great tick that if I can teach someone, then I really know it. The second thing is it will save teacher time, and you can move it to the next topic which you are looking forward to learn. So this is very good thing. Lastly, the fourth challenge is when your teacher gives you some classwork.
Okay, let's pause it here. And we'll just go back to Yep. So what they suggested here was to help other students. Helping other students obviously is if we go back to the second challenge, that's something that other students actually did. However, if you already know a concept, that is helpful. And for the reasons they said in the video, when you help other students, you can first of all speed things up and make life easier for the teacher, and you can move forward to other topics that you might not actually know about. Now, what will happen a lot of the time, if you go to, let's say, grades like year 11, 12, or maybe year 10, you'll notice that a lot of students read ahead. However, when they read ahead, they try and avoid disturbing the teacher as much because you don't want everyone to know you read ahead. You don't want to show off in that sense. You actually just want to be focused, because even if you read something in a textbook, it doesn't mean you understand it, obviously. And that's something we can all sympathize and empathize with. Just because I read something in, let's say, science, it doesn't mean I memorized and understand it fully. The teacher still needs to explain that concept to you. So before going to everyone else, I'll straight away go to Hasnain first. And I'll ask Hasnain if he's ever went through anything. So Hasnain, have you ever actually read through a concept already and actually understood the concept in advanced, for example?
In many cases, yes, I have read ahead in certain subjects, which I find to be somewhat difficult, or in previous years might have been my weakness. So during like the summer holidays, for example, I would like briefly revise over certain future year concepts and reinforce that knowledge before I enter the classroom, so that when I enter the classroom, I do not need to be like as focused and as concentrated as I would need to if you're learning it for the first time. Since if you're learning it the second time, then it's much easier to learn it since everything will just start to click, and automatically you'll start to remember things. Even if you forgot it a long time ago, you'll be able to recover it eventually.
Correct. And as Hasnain said, it's good for if you have weak subjects. So what Hasnain did was that if you had a weak subject, then it's good to read ahead in that subject, and also it helps. So Hasnain, how much did that help you in terms of like, could you give us an example of a subject you're weak in and that you read through the content in advance?
One of these subjects included science and mainly English as well. Particularly for science, my marks whenever I did a science exam just skyrocketed, simply because I knew the content in advance, and therefore I had more time to learn about the concept in detail and be prepared for unexpected questions in exams as well. And just in general, even if it wasn't for exams, my assignments as well my results in assignments also have improved as well, from learning content before school started, and so it has helped me in that way as well.
That's good. Thanks for your real life experience. And I can actually empathize a lot with Hasnain here, because there were subjects I was also bad at. And when I read through in advance, for example, English as well, like we had this novel, going through the chapters with class sometimes didn't help, and I couldn't understand what they were saying. So what I try to do is I try to read it and interpret things in my own way. And reading in advance helps a lot. That's what I'm doing this year. And thankfully for science, because right now I'm doing chemistry, when I read in advance, everything just clicked. Even though I read it from the textbook, I do know half the theory. I know the basic information, but when I went back to class and I actually read through everything, or when I went back to class and the teacher explained it, it clicked, just like Hasnain explained it here. Now, Ayan, what is your perspective on this?
For me, sometimes in math, I knew because last year I was in year 5 extension, so term 4 of year 5 would be term 1 and 2 of year 6 math.
Yeah.
So now when I'm in year 6, because apparently we didn't have extension this year, I already knew all the concepts because most of my class was in the class that I am. So
Yeah.
most of us just knew the concept, so we just end up explaining to the teacher actually, and then the teacher would explain to the rest of the students who didn't know. So yeah.
So did that help your marks?
Right now, I haven't had an exam. I'm having one on Monday for math. So
have you done topic tests yet?
Topic test for English, I have pre-assessment. So
okay.
Yeah.
So how was that for you? I'm just asking, how was that for you?
Pre-assessment, it was good. We had to write a newspaper article, I guess.
Yep.
So
Okay.
That's
good to know. Now, we were talking about already knowing things. So before I go to Usman, I'd also like to mention that I know students in my chemistry class who actually have read ahead content. And when they do, sometimes what they do is that they would interrupt the teacher and then say, "Oh, I already knows this. It's too easy." And then they'll talk about their understanding of everything. And this actually isn't helpful. So if you already know something, don't be snobbish. Don't make it obvious to everyone. Just try and keep that to yourself and use it as a tool to allow yourself to better break down and understand things. Now, I would like to quickly go to Usman to give his perspective. So when we already know things, is there any tips you'd like to give anyone else, or is there anything you'd like to avoid if you already know something or concept in class that you're going through?
If you already know something, then for example, apart from reading over content before the teacher actually teaches it, before an exam, if you were to say quickly read over a concept that you were taught in class, then you can instantly remember it, even if it wasn't like even if you don't extensively actually like read through it, do questions, it'll just click, as Shayan said. Also, if you already know content, then in class you should actually avoid disturbing the teacher and causing interruptions. Rather, you could work ahead and do the exercise you're going to do today for homework or such. So
okay, thank you, Usman. So, oh wait, were you going to say something else, or?
No, I wasn't. Sorry.
Oh, okay, cool. No, it's okay. Now, thank you for everybody's input. So obviously, it's good to read ahead. Doesn't mean you need to show off or tell anyone else. And reading ahead does help your marks significantly, whether you're doing HSC or normal exams, whether you're in primary or in high school. Reading ahead allows you to better understand and break down concepts. And as Hasnain has explained to us, when you read ahead, things compared to the first time going through something, when you do it the second time, it's much, much more easier to absorb all the knowledge. Now let's move forward in the video. So challenge number 4. Is the video there? There we go. Yep. 4th challenge.
Lastly, the 4th challenge is when your teacher give you some classwork and it's quite challenging to finish in the given time. So what should you do? In that case, finish it in your break time or in the library, and you can get help from your mates, but don't let it become a part of your homework, or don't skip it. As we mentioned before, the one lesson is a unit of your whole subject area. Skipping is not a good choice. So you should learn it before the next topic start. If you find another challenge or any other question or idea you want to share with others, you can comment in the comment box, and you can send us an email, you can leave a comment down there, and we'll try to answer it as quickly as we can. Thanks.
Sorry, I was muted. So the last thing was, let me just quickly check. When you have too less of time to go through something. A common example is homework, when you don't have enough homework time. So using all these examples and thoughts, Ayan, what is your input when you don't have enough time for something? Time is too
When I
short.
do-
Yep.
When I don't have enough time for anything, I usually end up trying to do it first instead of doing the things I can do later on, because it has more priority, especially if it's
Yep.
like schoolwork from school. So I end up doing the schoolwork first, and then if I have any homework, I do it after, because I have the whole week. Sometimes I can get extension until Monday. So yeah.
Okay. And thanks for your experience, Ayan. Hussein?
I would follow the same process as Aeon. Mostly, I would prioritize certain things over others, and often people underestimate prioritization because it is extremely important, especially if you're in year 11 or 12 like me or Shayan. So I have nothing to add on apart from Aeon.
And finally, Usman?
Of course, sometimes you don't have enough time to do something, and some of my teachers actually intend to do that. For example, my math teacher, she intends to she makes us do some work, but usually there's not enough time to complete it because she intends to make it into homework. However, of course, when you have normal schoolwork, which isn't supposed to actually be homework, then well, there isn't really much you can do except for prioritize it, as Ayan said, and do it in recess or the library or such, as the video from Shafkat said.
Yep. Now, for this last question, I'll basically just summarize what everyone said so far. And what we've basically just said, just prioritize things according to how they should be prioritized. What do you want to prioritize it by? Most likely your due date. Some things might be due tomorrow, some things might be due in 3 weeks or 2 weeks. And you want to prioritize it based off of your due date. So if something's due tomorrow, do it now. If something's due in 2 weeks, then you can do it the next day or whenever you have time later, obviously. Other than that, that should be the concluding thoughts. And with the same, and this also applies to assignments as well. With assignments in particular, you also want to prioritize it according to your due dates, etc. And that would be it for the video. I don't think there's anything else we can mention. So beyond this, if you want to join our panel, please join the Young Innovators Club, where we run our own workshops, we run live shows and live streams. And if anyone has any project idea that they would like to actually work on, then obviously we'll be working with them. We'll apply project-based learning so that we can work on this project with you. For example, maybe you want to make a website to promote something or something like that. We'll work with you. We'll help you out all the way till the end. And in the club, we also do many other activities as well. We have run LAN parties, and we have had a lot of fun sessions together. So if you want to join that, next time or next week in particular, we'll be talking about assignments and project work. Just like how we mentioned a little bit about doing your assignments and how you want to prioritize things, we'll be talking a little bit more about that next week, and that will be at Saturday. So we appreciate everyone joining us and being here with us. And before I continue, I'd also like to mention that this was run by the Young Innovators Network, and this is technically sponsored by them. So it's important to make sure that, sorry, what am I saying? It's important that you try and at least give your own input so that other people can hear what you have to say, so that we can all just work together. Because as it's mentioned in the name, obviously, Young Innovators Network, we're all a network of people. We're all trying to do our best, and we're all trying to help each other. So just make sure to share this as much as you can, and make sure to comment and develop your own network and work with us. Hopefully we can all just help each other and achieve certain goals that we're aiming to achieve. So please subscribe and like this video and share it as much as you can. Otherwise, these should be the concluding thoughts. If there is anything else, or if there's any questions you want, just ask in the comment section, and we'll try and stay as active as we can. So thanks for being with us, and goodbye.